Modern agriculture destroyed them in the 1980s. By 2006, farmers had rebuilt their population to 17 million, the largest ground-nesting bee colony ever documented, worth $50 million annually to America's alfalfa seed industry. Join Nature Systems as we reveal how one valley resurrected the pollinator everyone thought was extinct. In the early 1950s, Western alfalfa growers faced a mystery. Fields bloomed with purple flowers. Irrigation worked perfectly, yet seed yields remained catastrophically low. The problem was hidden inside each flower. Alfalfa has a spring-loaded reproductive column that snaps upward violently when triggered, slapping pollen onto whatever lands on it. Most bees hate this mechanism. Honeybees learn to steal nectar through the side, avoiding the snap entirely. No snap means no pollination. So which pollinator could unlock alfalfa's potential? The answer lived underground. Native alkali bees, half-inch insects with mother-of-pearl bands across their bodies, possess the exact weight and landing behavior to trigger alfalfa's mechanism perfectly. When they landed, flowers tripped instantly. Unlike honeybees, alkali bees embrace the snap, working flower after flower relentlessly. But by the 1970s, they had nearly vanished. In 1978, Washington's Touchet Valley counted 17.7 million active bee nests. 20 years later, only 1.9 million remained, an 89% collapse. Agricultural modernization had systematically destroyed every habitat requirement these bees needed. Insecticides killed adults during foraging. Tillage eliminated the bare, compacted ground females required for nesting. Irrigation changes flooded traditional sites. Farmers had accidentally eliminated the species making Western alfalfa seed production viable. The breakthrough came from an unexpected place. Around the small town of Touchet in Walla Walla County, a few older farmers had maintained strange strips of land. Bare soil kept moist, but not flooded, periodically salted to prevent vegetation, left completely undisturbed. These weren't accidents, they were sanctuaries. And in those patches, alkali bees survived. Female alkali bees excavate vertical tunnels 8 inches deep, then create horizontal chambers branching from the main shaft. Each chamber houses one larva and a pollen ball, but they're extraordinarily picky. They require silty soil between 56 and 72% silt, moisture maintained between 8 and 32%, compacted surfaces preventing tunnel collapse, and salt-sealed surfaces deterring other insects. Modern agriculture had eliminated these conditions everywhere. Could farmers recreate them intentionally? By the 1990s, Touchet Valley farmers had refined bee bed engineering to extraordinary precision. They excavated down to water-resistant layers, installed subsurface irrigation pipes, reconstructed soil profiles with exact particle distributions, then compacted surfaces using specialized rollers. The investment, $12,000 to $18,000 per acre in 1990s pricing. The gamble? These beds might thrive for 50 years or collapse within a decade. Why risk it when commercial leafcutter bees were available? Economics. Leafcutters cost over $250 per hive annually and pollinated less efficiently. Alkali bees, once established, required only periodic salt and irrigation monitoring. 1 acre of bee bed could service 100 acres of alfalfa, generating 100,000 pounds of seed. The return stretched across decades, but the long-term math was undeniable. If the bees would stay. Farmers experimented systematically through the 90s. They tested salt concentrations, monitored moisture with tensiometers, protected beds from traffic. County roads near major sites even reduced speed limits to 20 miles per hour, perhaps the world's only bee protection speed zones. But would it work? In 1999, USDA entomologist Dr. James Kane began the most comprehensive ground nesting bee census ever attempted. He counted emergence holes across measured plots, excavated soil cores, calculated population estimates for every bed across Touchet Valley's 240 square kilometers. The initial count confirmed the collapse. 1.9 million active nests, just 11% of 1978 levels. But several sites showed something unexpected. The largest remaining bed contained 320,000 females at a density of 278 nests per square meter. Under the right conditions, these bees were multiplying. Touchet Valley had invested millions collectively into bee beds over decades, capital that would vanish entirely if populations kept declining. The valley could only wait, monitoring emergence each spring to see whether broken ecological relationships could be restored. Then Dr. Kane's annual surveys revealed something unprecedented. Between 1999 and 2006, populations didn't just stabilize, they exploded. 1.9 million to 16.7 million active nests, nearly nine-fold expansion in 7 years. Multiple factors converged. Farmers had perfected bed management. They avoided insecticides during bloom, switching to pollinator-safe pest control. The valley's 12,000 acres of alfalfa provided unlimited pollen for bees foraging across 5 to 10 square kilometers. And crucially, several beds had remained occupied for over 50 years, multi-generational sites developing into meta-populations with females dispersing to establish satellites while maintaining genetic connectivity. The largest bed reached 5.3 million nesting females, the largest bee aggregation ever documented for any non-social species. How did supposedly solitary bees coexist at such density? The answer revealed something profound about behavior. Female, alkali bees preferred nesting near other females, gregarious nesting. Some areas exceeded 300 emergence holes per square meter. This clustering created hidden advantages. Dense aggregations reduced predation through dilution. With millions emerging simultaneously, predators couldn't significantly impact populations. Concentrated emergence also created male competition that paradoxically improved female fitness by ensuring only vigorous males bred. Dr. Kane's team deployed sophisticated monitoring, measuring water vapor flow into tunnels, tracking individual foraging trips, excavating cells to document development. Each measurement refined understanding of successful versus failed beds. The findings challenged conventional wisdom. Unlike commercial beekeeping focused on maximizing production, alkali bee management focused entirely on stable habitat. The bees handled everything else, if conditions remained suitable. By the mid-2000s, Touchet Valley had become an international case study. Researchers from Europe, Australia, South America visited to observe techniques. The valley produced 25% of America's alfalfa seed at 800 to 1,000 pounds per acre, double the national average. Experimental plots showed alkali bees triggered flowers at 70% rates versus honeybees 11%. Each visit produced measurably higher seed set. The economics transformed the region. Touchet seed commanded premium prices. Retail sales exceeded $50 million annually by 2009. But threats remained. Highway projects threatened nesting beds. Climate change desynchronized emergence with bloom. Market fluctuations reduced planted acreage. Before we reveal today's status, if you're finding this compelling, hit subscribe to Nature Systems for more biological breakthroughs reshaping agriculture. Now, the present reality. As of 2021, Touchet Valley maintains over 120 acres of managed bee beds supporting tens of millions of bees. Some beds have remained productive for over 60 years, exceeding predictions by decades. The Farmer-Pollinator partnership has proven economically viable and ecologically resilient. Recent research continues refining techniques. Clear plastic sheeting advances emergence by 7 to 10 days, synchronizing with early varieties. White chalk delays it similarly for late blooms. Simple interventions optimizing timing across diverse genetics. Dr. Kane, now emeritus, continues studying populations privately. His decades of research transformed ground nesting ecology from curiosity into management science. His census represents the most comprehensive long-term data ever collected for non-social bees. Touchet Valley farmers, some managing beds their grandparents established, proved modern agriculture can coexist with native pollinators, not through genetic modification or technology, but through understanding and recreating conditions species evolved to inhabit. The story challenges assumptions about intensification and biodiversity. Touchet Valley is among North America's most intensively farmed landscapes, minimal fallow land, continuous monoculture. Yet it supports the world's largest managed native pollinator population. The key? Farmers learn to think like bees. If this changed how you see agriculture, drop a comment. Subscribe to Nature Systems for stories where ecology and economy discover common ground.